So I just returned from a field trip to Iceland, studying the geology, geography and ornithology of the island, and here's what we got up to. Unfortunately it was very windy in Iceland, so a lot of the sound is quite difficult to hear. So we're here in Iceland and to be honest the landscape is slightly depressing, disappointing. I mean, very flat, but then if you turn around here, you get a wonderful waterfall. Which is the third one we've seen so far, and yeah, it's all rather smashing. This is the waterfall at Gullfoss, I think, excuse my pronunciation, but it's pretty big and there's a hell of a lot of spray going on right now. Don't know if you can see it in the background there, but there is a rainbow formed in the valley. On the first day we looked at an ancient lava field in the morning and then stopped for lunch by a nearby waterfall. So of course we had to go have a look. After lunch we went to study the vegetative succession in new land created by a retreating glacier. On day 2 we visited the Westerman Islands, which are a archipelago of volcanically active islands that have only recently been created. Whilst there we looked at a volcano that erupted in 1971. Just a few feet underground the earth was still hot. The highest recorded temperature we found was 300 degrees. So we're now sailing between the mainland and the Western Islands. Not as difficult as I'd expected, despite being on crutches. But I'm getting by. There you can just see the snow-capped top of A40 just between the clouds. The next day we took part in the tourist trail. We did what's known as the Golden Circle, a tour of 3 significant sites in southern Iceland. The first of which is a place called Thingvellir, which is where they believed the first Viking parliament to be held on the country. However, importantly for us, this is situated along the mid-Atlantic ridge, a point where Europe and North America are pulling apart from each other and new land is being created. In the middle of this new land there's a lovely pristine looking lake, so the lads felt the need to jump in it. It was 3.5 degrees. So we're here at a place called Geysir, from which we get the word geyser, because as I'm sure you can imagine, it's a geyser. It's supposed to go off every sort of 5 to 8 minutes or so. And I've been stood here for 3, waiting for a geyser. Bloody hell, it stinks. There it is. A brief stop for Icelandic coffee and snacks, and we're off to Gullfoss waterfall. The waterfall at Gullfoss is supposed to be one of the great waterfalls in the world, and I can see why. This waterfall is 32 metres tall in total, with 2 different steps, and a whopping 109 cubic metres per second of water flows over it. So that's most of the activities we did whilst in Iceland. In all, it was a fascinating trip. I'd love to go back, but it would be rude at this point not to mention the food. Yes, that is a whole lamb.
An omelette.